Hello all and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right here in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Haryanto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. Now we are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so remember to subscribe to us. While you're at it, also hit the bell button to be alerted of our videos. Now I'll have my newsroom colleagues joining me today to talk about the stories that got you talking. Now first up, it's been 3 years now since the announcement by MOE regarding a new PSLE scoring system. Just a quick recap, the current T-score aggregate system will be replaced with an 8-grade banding system for each subject under the new scoring mechanism. It will come into effect in 2021. Now today, more details on the new scoring system were revealed as the implementation draws nearer. So what are these updates? To tell us more, I have Senior Education Correspondent Sandra Devi. Welcome, Sandra.
Thanks, Haryanto.
Not your first time today, of course.
No.
So Sandra, tell us, what are the new details revealed in this announcement?
Well, as you said, the PSLE, the new PSLE scoring system that will go into effect in 2021 was unveiled by MOE 3 years ago, and they gave quite a bit of details. Today, they have spelled out further details. For one, to get parents and students more familiar with the new system. From next year, Primary 5 students will get their school exam results based on the new PSLE scoring system. So they will get their subject grades in the AL1 to 8 levels.
To get them familiarized.
Yes,
system,
that's
yeah?
right. To get them used to it and see where they fall in terms of the different subjects. And then when they go on to Primary 6 the following year, they will get the cut-off entry scores for all secondary schools in the first half of the year. And again, it will be based on the new PSLE scoring system. So again, it helps them gauge where they stand, what can be their likely choices of secondary schools. MOE also announced 2 other details to the scoring system. One is with regards to foundation level subjects and how they will be scored under the new system. And basically it will go from A to C, but that will be pegged to the standard level of 6 to 8. And we also revealed the eligibility criteria for doing higher mother tongue in secondary schools.
So these are some of the new details revealed in the announcement. Now, Sandra, of course, it's been 3 years, as I mentioned and you mentioned as well. Can you take us through once again, why is this new system being implemented?
Okay, so the big news was, of course, the move away from the T-score, where every student is ranked according to their performance. And it was just too much of a fine differentiation, I think a bit unnecessary, and it ratcheted up the competition between students. So to dial down that stress and competition, MOE decided to come out with this 8 achievement levels instead. And your total overall PSLE score will be based on what you score on the achievement levels. So the best score, your total PSLE score, the best score can be 4, right up to 32. So that was the big change. And the idea is really to, get students not to have to chase that last mark, to beat all their peers, and to focus more on doing other things, be it sports or music or dance, or some kind of community involvement programs, because these are the activities that will teach you the soft skills that are becoming important.
So basically to develop in other aspects and to develop holistically.
More all-rounded students.
And not just on academic itself only. And Sandra, of course, you are definitely the expert in the education bit here, and you've definitely covered this extensively.
Yes.
Now, with the details being fleshed out, the new details are being fleshed out, what are some of the advice that you would give to parents and students?
All right. So I think with this news about how foundation level subjects will be scored, I think I can anticipate that a lot of parents are going to say that, you know, they're kind of pegged at too low a level compared to the standard level subjects. They are worrying about whether if their kid does one subject at the foundation level, will they make it to express stream? Actually, MOE has already said that even if you did 1 or 2 foundation level subjects and you do well in the other subjects, you can still make it to the express stream. So I would advise parents not to worry too much if your child is weak in a subject and may have to take that subject, the foundation level. You should try and pick the level according to your child's ability in that subject, because no point forcing him or her to do a subject at a higher level when they're struggling with it. Then they're just going to lose confidence and self-esteem because they're going to do poorly compared to their peers.
So at the end of the day, it's really about being realistic with your
and knowing your child. You know, I always tell
capabilities,
parents,
right?
And help them build on their confidence.
And understand that, Sandra, you're also going to be working on an analysis piece that will be out tomorrow as well?
Yes.
All right. So make sure that you read the analysis piece by Sandra that is coming out tomorrow. Once again, thank you so much, Sandra, for coming onto the show. To tell us more about the new details and the updates, basically, with regard to the new PSLE scoring system. Once again, thank you, Sandra. Of course, still at home, we have all at some point in our lives had to disclose our NRIC details. But the truth of the matter is, not all scenarios warrant us to disclose this confidential information. So how do we know when it is within our rights to not share this information with, say, the security guard at a condo or the receptionist at a lost and found items counter? A guidebook for security officers on PDPA regulations related to the collection of NRIC and other national identification numbers was launched yesterday. That outline these scenarios. Now, to tell us more, I have journalist Charmaine. Welcome, Charmaine.
Thanks.
Charmaine, I understand that this is your first time on The Big Story.
Yes.
A little nervous?
Yeah.
But don't worry. Simple. We've already discussed this. So, Charmaine, maybe first of all, if you could tell our viewers what constitutes personal data under the PDPA Act?
So under the Act, any data that can be used to identify a person would be considered personal data. I think most of us will be familiar with the Do Not Call registry where...
DNR.
Yes.
Right?
Where you can opt out from receiving marketing calls or SMSs. So now they're moving towards NRIC numbers and national identification numbers. So from September 1st, it would be illegal for organizations to collect, use or disclose such identification numbers.
Right.
And that would include not just NRIC numbers, but also birth certificate numbers, FIN numbers or work permit numbers if you're a foreigner, and even passport numbers as well.
Okay. So these are the personal data. And of course, with the book, what do the guidelines or the guidebook stipulate?
So the guidebook was actually launched by the Security Associations of Singapore, which oversees the private security industry. So like the guards at the condos or the ones that you see at the public buildings. So it basically spells out some common scenarios that these private security officers face in their daily work. Let's say if someone wants to claim something that they lost at the lost and found counter, let's say at a shopping mall, what should they do in that instance? Should they collect the NRIC number of the person who is collecting the item? Or in this case, the guidebook suggests that it depends on the value of the item and whether it's of a very significant value. So if that is the case, then you may want to take down like the partial NRIC number, verify the details by visually inspecting the person's IC. or if it's not something of significant value, like if it's mundane,
not very confidential information.
Yeah, or not
right?
very expensive, then there's no reason for you to, there's no justification for collecting my NRIC number to.
Yeah, and I suppose it's also not only for security officers, it's also for public people like us, right? To kind of like know what are your rights. If, say, for example, you've been asked, hey, can you provide me with your NRIC number? And then you can go like, no, you know, you don't need, I don't need to do that, correct? So if let's say, so we talk about NRIC details, what are the alternatives then? Say, for example, instead of giving or collecting, or not, you know, from the perspective of the security guard, collecting NRIC details, what other alternatives can they collect in lieu of the NRIC details then?
Yeah, so in some scenarios where it's not necessary to verify a person's identity with a high degree of certainty, then there are certain alternatives that the guidebook suggests, which is, for example, taking down the partial NRIC number, like the last few digits, and
with the letter,
with the letter at the end, or just a phone number, email address, or you know, maybe the registered postal code of the person.
What about the name? Full name is okay as well. Okay. And you know, in the event, say PDPA is breached, what are the consequences?
So organizations can be fined up to $1 million.
Oh wow!
And they can be asked to stop collecting personal data, asked to destroy the personal data, or allow access, allow access to the personal data. So there are several consequences depending on the severity
of the breach and so on and so forth. All right, once again, that wasn't so bad, Charmaine. Once again, thank you so much, Charmaine, for coming onto the show to share with us more on this new guidebook. Of course, for more stories on the PDPA and really, you know, what constitutes personal data, under what circumstance can you reveal or not reveal your personal identification information, you can visit our website at www.straitstimes.com. Now, earlier on, we had senior education correspondent Sandra Devi to share with us the updates that MOE announced with regard to the new PSLE scoring system. And then, of course, we had Charmaine for the first time on The Big Story to share with us on the guidebook that was launched yesterday that stipulate regulations relating to the collection of NRIC details under the PDPA Act. So those are your stories for the day. For more news and videos, do log on to our website at www.straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Haryanto. Join us same time tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.